Good turnaround Tuesday, Warriors. How's everyone doing? Dollar attempting a comeback. Think it's going to be a failing rally. Best guess after the Fed, if it's kind of a hawkish uh, press conference. Anyway, we'll take a look at levels. How are you, AJ? Brand, Kman, how are you, buddy? Brand, Alexander, Mike, RC, Ingmar, Glenn's here, James is here. Mike, how are you? There's a new name. Harjo Gandhi, welcome to F.A.C.E. You found the right place to become an ace. Okay, let's go to work here. Okay. Get rid of this. Okay, K-Man's with us today, right?
Hey, Heidi, hi, Dale.
How you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, getting
All
back,
right. Yeah,
adjusting.
got your sea legs.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Adjusting to what the market is still doing, very, very rapid responses to whatever tariffs and other stuff may be coming to us.
Okay. Did this convince you that the euro has bottomed, or do you still think this was or think it is just a bear market rally that's going to abort and the dollar's going to make a new high because of the milkshake theory? You
Um,
know,
No, the only thing I see is that the euro still can't keep a bid for more than a few sessions. We had the dollar side of it, but if it depends on the euro, it doesn't seem that that is the right instrument, perhaps, to right now be long or short. It's what I note is that coming back, it's still a case of Um, you can't rely on a trend because it's so much driven by just a few people flicking a few light switches, and that is still what I note. And we had already a couple of examples there with those tariffs, Besant and Trump last night. Towards the end of your session, driving the whole thing in reverse. I'm actually not sure that the Fed will matter much, Dale, if they keep their hands still. And Powell will not openly say that it's a political decision to keep rates still. Yeah, he has other factors to hide behind. We had those better jobs report. We have the yields in the market staying high, risk of inflation and inflation being a bit sticky. So there's enough reasons for that, for him not to have to mention the uncertainty about tariffs, etc. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I want to be short dollars, I'd still be looking at something different, really, than the euro dollar, which is unfortunate because the euro dollar, being more than half of your Dixie,
yeah.
it may muddle the waters a bit.
Would it be cable?
Well,
Which,
I'm starting to think about it because cable, look at euro sterling.
yeah,
And we were talking about that and I was mentioning that on the Flow Show as well this morning. If you look a bit further back, the July, August, kind of the election stuff
November.
in the UK. Um, if you look at what happened in July, August of 2024, look at that. Those moves are very, very similar. You've got a rapid move up in euro sterling, and then we start to come down again.
Good eye.
I'm actually thinking that we may have a bit of a remake of that scenario. I'd love to see a retest of 84, 30, 50 or so. And what is going on here?
Oh, so
And
you'd sell a rally if
yeah,
euro pound popped.
for
Okay.
now, for now I would. I warned against potential sterling weakness because the market looking at the risks more than the positives in the sterling. But if you look at it versus euro, it may already be all over. And if you then circle back to the dollar, I think dollar weakness, this cable may be a better one, if you really want to play the dollar weakness, which I'm actually not sure about. I think the big test of what Trump really wants to do is perhaps waiting for us on Saturday when he makes hard or scales back on the promised tariffs that he will slap onto Mexico and Canada. So
Okay.
I think if
That's
he goes
happening.
up to there,
That's
then I
happening
think,
over the weekend, huh?
yeah, exactly. So that's a gap open guaranteed on Sunday night. But if he goes softer there than what he said, that may be that he's not ready with anyone else either, and then your dollar could get a slap. But in the meantime, bit of a question mark.
Okay. All right. I view this dollar strength as something I want to fade, but not
Hmm.
yet. I'm just waiting for Fib levels, and I'm thinking after the Fed maybe. If he's kind of doesn't give the market any guidance about that they're going to cut soon, like in March. The dollar
Yeah.
probably pops on that, and I'm going to fade it if
Mm,
that happens.
yeah.
What about the stubbornness with Canada that really never
Yeah,
looked
we were
like it
talking
topped?
we were talking about that, and the question of it all is what's going to happen on Saturday. And I think rather than what's going to happen with the Bank of Canada, what is it tomorrow? I think Bank of Canada may again be a bit dovish and then raise the question about what's going to happen with the tariffs and stuff. But I think there's a fair bit in the market, but the actual slapping those 25% tariffs on may give this one really the Canadian dollar a bit of a death knell, and we see dollar cat shoot up to, I don't know, 6, 7, 46, 47 or so for a starter.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but how much is priced in? That's always the question.
Yeah, well, we could get another high, and it would be three. Here's one.
Mm,
There's the RSI
mm,
reading. It's confirmed. This was a wild day after it looked like it topped. Non-confirmation. And if we blow here, I doubt we're going to get over 70. So, um, you know, I would take a shot at new highs around
mm.
46, around 45, 80, 620, something
Yeah,
like
there's a
that.
lot of
Anyway,
yeah, yeah, there's a lot going on in this 46 kind of,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Mm.
Quick comment on U.S. dollar yen trying to recover as well with the dollar.
Yeah, that was that tariff blip. But then we had another news this morning. Well, another headline, Bloomberg story this morning saying that there may be preparations going on for GPIF to enter for the possibility for them to enter the JGB market straight away, the auctions, without having to go via other institutions. So that put a lid on the dollar yen and sent dollar yen down a bit because that would
Okay.
be a big kind of a big change if GPIF could go straight away to the JGB auction market. And so
It makes
that
them more like the Fed because the Fed goes right to the auction market, and they don't do
no, I
that.
mean, yeah, in GPIF's case, it's the question whether they are preparing something that they think that the Bank of Japan has started to put rates where they want them to be to get back deeper
Oh,
into the JGB market, which would mean or could mean repatriation of funds if they take away some of the foreign investments. So
And
that is something a story to follow, but also I don't think they are ready tomorrow. It's going to be a case that to follow this one into the new fiscal year.
Kman,
okay.
can you do the listeners a favor who haven't been in the
They
markets
don't.
for 40 years and explain who the GPIF is? Because there's
Absolutely
people here
not.
that are listening in that don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Join our community and I'll explain it all in length.
It's like
But
YMCA. Go
no,
ahead, man.
it's the Japanese, it's the government pension fund of Japan, right? So they are handling a heap of pension money, and they have investment. How should I say, percentages that they allocate, like any other pension fund, that they allocate to different markets. And we know from a while back that they are looking for the Bank of Japan to put rates, Japanese yields at certain levels to make it much more interesting to invest back into JGBs, where they are very highly invested in foreign markets right now. So bringing back money to Japan in their case would likely see quite a few yens being bought in the process.
And
Sure
that's a
isn't going to help the
reversal.
bond market either.
I
Not
I
going
was
to
didn't
just
help
get
going
the
to
that.
say,
treasury market is what I'm saying.
Oh, it will affect.
Yeah, it won't help the treasury market,
In
that
theory,
policy.
not, but it always depends on how much fresh investment they have. Because if you also have to know that the workers, the employees have got decent pay rises, so they may invest more now as well into their pension fund, right? So it the big difference will be if they change their strategy of investment. That is, if they, like for instance, now they are 25% invested in Japanese products and or in JGBs, and then another percentage in the equity markets. But if they would change that investment portfolio scenario, they didn't, like for instance, they move up to 35% JGBs, that would actually then mean a big difference indeed, even for the US Treasuries. They are the biggest investor in US Treasuries worldwide, right?
Yes,
even more so than China.
yes,
Oh yeah,
yes.
So
So
this is a
that's
huge change in behavior, which
yeah.
I think traders and everybody should be understanding that, especially if you trade in equity markets and you FX is kind of like an anomaly to you. You don't really understand it all that well. This is a big change in behavior from the Japanese pension fund, the GPIF, would be a big shift globally, and it would affect all markets, not just the yen, but you could see it really affect what happens with US yields as well.
All
absolutely.
right. Well, I booked half my trade down here in Nvidia. It was a five banger, and you know, it's not a profit till you take it. So I booked it. This was my first objective. So now I'm hoping we get a rally back towards 130. So, but it could collapse. And my second objective, I hope the S&Ps rally to new highs because that may be what it's going to take to get good failing rallies in Apple and Nvidia. But here's the long-term target. I had this line drawn, and also the confluence of the moving average here. If it breaks here, it's wide open. Here's the long-term bearish target of Nvidia, 52. So anyway,
Nice trade, coach.
yeah, it was the best trade I've had in quite some time. So let's have a let's have a great decade this year.
Absolutely.
All
Shit, we're
right,
having it
so
in a week.
yeah, so that was in 5 days, 20% decline in that. So anyway, back to currencies, Blake. Do you think? Well, Stell's here. Why don't we get him in
Delios is here,
first?
Ryan's here.
Hello.
Oh, Ryan's here. I didn't see his name earlier. Okay, Stell. Uh,
Well
really
done
have
on
to be.
video, by the way.
Thank you. Gold silver ratio is getting closer to where I think it might peak. What do you think here in the silver? It's
Um,
how it's slow.
it is slow and sideways. Gold is performing very well. But you're right about the ratio. It's getting to actually let me take the charts for a second.
There
Hold
it
on.
is. Sure,
Share.
go ahead.
Replace current share. There you go. So, um, so gold silver ratio is actually broken out from what looks like some kind of a channel. But these previous highs, we are there now.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, anyway you look at it, gold is trading really, really well. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
close to all-time highs. It's still the strongest of the two. Silver is
Yes.
in the middle of the road, doing really nothing. I think it's going to catch up, but it requires a lot of patience. Remember, I'm in at 29.75, apart from my core long
Yeah.
from 23.10, but not really doing much with that.
I'd like
Um,
to see it at the bottom of your box, and I'm
yeah,
backing up the
27.
truck. Yeah.
27. Yes,
I
yes, yes. That would
I
be
would
great.
back and even the miners that people hate. You know
Yeah.
that that gold and silver bulls hate miners too.
Ah, wow. That's interesting. I mean, I understand that miners have trouble because of higher yields, which means that their leveraged business, big part of
Yeah.
their cost is debt. But I think that yields are going to be edging lower, or maybe even going a lot lower. Um, so that should help miners theoretically. Um, 10-year US, we are at a level which should be support. It's a 23.6 retracement plus the 50 DMA plus a kind of a support zone. So if you zoom in, we kind of almost touched it and trying to bounce back. My core view remains that we break below and we go
Yeah.
to lower levels. I think this deep seek story is deflationary. If you think about it, if you can get something done with only, what is it, 5% of the energy required,
Yeah.
and I think this theoretically is deflationary. We know that President Trump wants lower yields. Of course, he can say he wants them. Getting them is a different story, but I think we can all agree that he does exert pressure on the Fed and on everybody else he can. And he also wants a weaker dollar, and he's been saying this for years. So my view remains we go lower in yields and lower in the dollar. I would not want to be short dollar CAD though, because it's been trading really, really strongly. And you talked about this earlier. And the US is the number one trading partner of Canada. And if there's any kind of tariff on Canadian products, then that's going to be a huge, huge problem for Canada. So I do not want to be short dollar CAD. I'd rather be short dollar in other pairs, and believe it or not, the euro dollar is one of them. And was this 102 the low? Uh, I think most likely for the medium term. So any dips, I think, should be bought. And
You have a level? You have any levels
uh, I
to
don't
be a
think we're gonna
buyer?
get back to the 102 level. I need to check it. I haven't got any levels off
You didn't
offhand at the
finish your
moment.
homework before you presented.
You're right.
All right.
Dollar Mex is one which I like being short of because of the carry as well. And but here I really want to see a break below 20. Really, that's what I
You
want to
know,
see.
I have a question for you because you follow this. If
Yes,
US dollar no, like Canada, can get the gumption up to make a new high, is that a short for you?
yes. The question is how does it get there? What kind of momentum does it have? What's the rationale? If it's just
Yeah.
edges up slowly on a broad dollar rally, then yes, I like to be short this.
Okay.
Um, but yeah,
Okay.
we
Just I was
still
curious.
observing this one.
Okay.
And the commodity currencies have been really struggling.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a bad day as well. Everything got smacked yesterday. I still think that commodities are going to be doing well this year. So Aussie, Kiwi, NOK, I like. Canada less so. We talked about that. So
So how
uh,
can AI be deflationary and you be bullish commodities?
oh, you're talking about commodities being used in
Well, just a
in
general,
technology.
just a yeah. You were talking about the new deep six or whatever it is. It's going to
Well,
be deflationary,
I think the
longer term
the
deflationary.
yes, and also
I
I
got
think
you.
the main reason why I like being long commodities is because I think yields in the dollar are going to be dropping. And
Got you.
they are inversely correlated usually. Of course, if there's any kind of event, unforeseen event, everything goes, right? But
Yeah, I promise to not pay attention to correlations this year because it's a new regime. And, I picked this up from Ryan. Not that it was a new regime, but that correlations that used to work might, de, you know, detach
de
from each other
decouple,
with,
yeah,
yeah, from, what we're used to, because, you know, there's a pretty big difference between Biden and Trump. So
true,
why wouldn't correlations change?
And it's
very
already
true.
been happening the whole of 2024 in gold.
That's true. Gold and the dollar.
Not
Yeah,
not been correlated. Gold and yields not been correlated.
that's
Yeah,
Oil
true.
and CAD.
gold and the stock market rally together. One's supposed to be
And
a fear hedge, and the other one's
yes,
supposed to be everything's great, invest.
and the
So
stock market, you mentioned it. I mean, it's still, my main thesis is still the same. Higher highs, higher lows. The bullish trend is still there. Yes, we had a
it
big
is.
down day yesterday, but we've had quite a
But
few down days in the past, and we still keep going higher. So unless something changes technically, I still think we're going higher, and probably the same with cryptos. They're just consolidating. So for me,
yeah,
nothing's changing. I'm not a day trader, so for me, nothing's changing.
the only difference if you go back to Bitcoin,
Yep.
from where we are now, look at the difference in momentum at the second high
Yes.
right there compared to the first.
Yes, you're right.
Okay, so there is some, and
Some
on
divergence.
different time frames. But I there are counts like about 116, 120. I could see that.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. The stock market and Bitcoin have another hurrah left in them.
Yes,
Yeah.
probably.
All right. Well, here's one hurrah for you. Everyone all together. Hurrah, Stelios.
No.
Hurrah, buddy. All right. Anyway, nice presentation.
Thank you.
I'm gonna bring Ryan, my mate, in. How are you, buddy?
Hey, mate, the old China
Hey,
plate.
hey, mate. So, what are you thinking about, European weakness, Euro cable? Are you thinking breaks to buy? I'm going to give the charts to, there's a
I've already
breakdown.
got him, buddy. But
All right.
but you can ask the questions. I'm just
Okay.
navigating charts.
Okay. What are you thinking here? Waiting for the Fed. First of all, what are your expectations for the Fed presser tomorrow, Ryan?
Yeah, that's really going to be the interesting one. He's on a bit of a tightrope again. If he indicates a skip or a pause, he's got to do so without letting the market get too hawkish, and he won't want it getting too dovish either. So he's going to have to walk the fine line, which he's good at, in fairness to him. And yeah, the market's going to reflect that because it's going to then extrapolate what it sees from rates. If they keep the rhetoric that they're still going to be cutting this year, and this is just a potential skip, then I think we're going to watch out some of the hawkishness.
So in one message, it'll have something for the hawks and something for the doves, so no one will really know or understand. Right?
It'll send everyone running around a little bit, and then it will be straight back in the middle by the end of it.
Yeah.
It's the old
right.
take 4 left turns and you end up back where you started.
It's more interesting now because, Biden never said boo about the Fed. So it's going to be interesting to, see what happens if he does deliver some hawkish stuff. He's going to take heat if he does, don't you think?
Yeah,
Blake,
I think so.
Blake, that President Trump
I think he will take
he might be mean to him. I'm worried about our president being mean to poor little Jay.
Well, Jay's gonna just end up, he's just buying his time before he's replaced by Waller anyway. But I mean, if you look at like the market reaction, and remember the Fed's not oblivious to understanding that the whole market is invested in the Mag 7. We've got, tariff risks rising, and that's going to pose all sorts of economic issues. I'm sure they're thinking about all these different scenarios too. I wouldn't be surprised if Powell is a little bit more dovish, maybe not not cutting rates dovish, but more dovish on balance because of President Trump and his administration that are sending shockwaves through the market literally every evening. Every night there's headlines and talk of tariffs, and it's obviously going to have impact on the global economy. So
did you say taco tariffs? Tariffs on tacos?
Taco tariffs. That's correct.
Okay.
No, he's just talking about tariffs. I might have said taco.
You could say taco on Tuesday. That's that's
But-
a custom.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the Fed's a little bit more dovish and just continues to leave the door open for possible rate cuts in the future. So what do you think about that, Ryan?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm in Dale's camp that I think a rally in the dollar is likely to be sold because you've got to remember that they still want rates down. However undovish they may seem this week, they still want to get rates down because that's what all central banks want to do. But I think that the Trump risk is very evident. Whatever Powell does tomorrow, I think there's a big risk 5 minutes after he's finished or even during the presser, you get some truth bombs dropping if Trump doesn't like what he's saying. So that's a risk we have to deal with these days. So I'd have one eye on the Powell and one eye on the Truth Social.
Right, exactly. That's a great point. Hey, real quick, we should probably discuss this really fast. I just want to ask this question because of obviously last night. I mean, and we were having this discussion in if you're in the Forex Analytics chat room, this is something that Kman and I were just talking about, and I want to voice my opinions here. You guys can obviously get more in depth discussion inside the Forex Analytics community, but I want to talk to you guys about it right now. Trump was on last night and he is, obviously he's like, I want to tariff this, tariff that, tariff everything. Tariff man, came out in spades last night, and that was after Treasury Secretary Bessent, who is now confirmed as Treasury Secretary, says, hey, I want to do a gradual 2.5% global tariff. And, that rises 2.5% till we get to 20% every month. It will, up 2.5% every month, basically, until we get to 20%, no matter, unless, a country is willing to work with us. Then, aside from everything else that was said, Trump said, well, 2.5% isn't enough. That gave like the dollar index its secondary leg. I was actually in a, watching soccer, and then all of a sudden we got another push up at night, and that happened. Now, that's obviously something that I think we should be discussing right now, because I believe that if we follow the path of Bessent, he is the Treasury Secretary. He's going to have input. I don't know how much sway he has going to have in the Trump administration, especially with Donald Trump specifically, but he's probably laid out the plan as far as what this is going to look like, and we had talked about this before the inauguration, that probably Bessent and other incoming administration officials were discussing, like, hey, if you come out with guns blazing, it's going to stoke inflation, the dollar is going to rise, blah blah blah. And then we were having this conversation. I want to get your opinion, Kman, and Ryan and Dale too, and Stelios as well. Maybe a little bit of good cop, bad cop is being played right now, and that's something that we were just talking about in the chat room. What are your thoughts on that? Let's start with Kman, because it was him and I pretty much having this conversation. So, Kay, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I borrowed this good cop, bad cop from Ryan, by the way. No, but I think this is very plausible, because Bessent is a market guy. He's a hedge fund guy, right? He was running a hedge fund and everything. And what I think about that, what was I saying what I was saying in the room as well, is that you may see a bit of a test where Bessent comes out a bit softer, and then Trump counterattacks. But I do think that before slapping like very big tariffs, but again, the first test will be on Saturday, as Trump has a very hawkish, close entourage around him. But Besant may run some numbers, crunch some numbers that what tariffs may do or not. And that may not completely. I mean, Trump could actually have ears to that as well. But for the time being, and I think they just keep people guessing all the time.
Yeah, okay. And Ryan, what do you have to say about that to expand on anything that we're talking about? And by the way, we have durable goods.
Durable goods has
came out.
just been crunched down 2.2%. But the core numbers, okay, up 0.5%. So it looks like there's some big ticket stuff going through there.
Yeah, everybody's front loading their pre-tariff buying. So that's what's probably happening more
maybe.
than anything.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So go ahead, Ryan.
yeah, I was going to say that the first thing that hit me was the fact that Besant was saying these comments at his confirmation hearing thing, and already Trump is coming in over the top of him. So my first thought was, is he already having disagreements with one of his staff members that's not even in place yet, or is it the good cop bad cop routine? So that needs to be watched. He could just be a bit of a foil, as Kay says, Besant, maybe just a bit of a foil to Trump. Come in with the easy stuff or try and make it not as inflammatory as Trump wants it, and then they find a bit of middle ground. But it's definitely something to watch, especially being Treasury Secretary. It's not exactly a small role.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think this guy likes tariffs, and he's trying to put lipstick on a pig because there's nothing great about tariffs. Nothing. What's positive about tariffs?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking Besant.
Percent. Yeah. So, do it slow, he's going his way, but he doesn't, I don't think he likes tariffs. It's like, so he's putting lipstick on a pig, kind of like when you sell a house and you just, make it look good while the foundation is cracked. So there's nothing good about tariffs.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're trying to
good?
increase your revenue base and you're trying to, if you want to follow like the Donald Trump like longer term plan of abolishing taxes and bringing in revenues through tariffs instead, and get rid of taxes as a whole, maybe that's his plan.
What'll happen is we'll still have taxes plus a value-added tax before it's over. That's my call.
Yeah, and then we'll get a bunch of, and we'll have a bunch of enemies. That's for sure. As
Anyway,
global trade goes down.
I have a new guest today.
Okay, I want to let you go. I'm sorry, Stelios, we didn't give you a chance to pipe in there about this this talk, but
and Steli, he's a countryman of yours and Steve's. You may want to, maybe you know him, the new guest.
Well, I don't.
Panos, do you know him? Panos Papadopoulos?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, Panos, I can say your last name easier than your first. It's really nice to meet you. You have a couple of
Dale.
partners.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, a
Thank
couple
you for
of the
having me on your
partners.
show.
Are you in Greece?
Yes, I'm in Greece. I'm in Lesbos, Mytilene.
Oh, okay. So, I saw a tweet and it attracted me. I really appreciate you accepting and granting an interview. You want to tell us a little bit about your journey and how you ended up being a GAN man, Panos? Huh?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. First of all, again, thanks. And it's a pleasure and honor to be with you all here. You have invited some of the best names in the industry. My journey started in 1998. I was a university student then, and the Greek stock market was in a huge bull run. Everyone was literally buying stocks. I managed to make a nice profit, but unfortunately, I saw some of my good friends lose all their money in the market. I felt quite sorry that I didn't have the knowledge to help them. So this triggered my journey, and I wanted to learn how this game is played correctly to make money for myself and for others, help other people, basically. A key turning point was in 2014. I saw a YouTube video where a a well-known pro-gold cycles analyst said that gold will start its bull market next week. And I checked his blog, and all his calls were 100% accurate. And I said, wow, this is it. I told it to my friend. He bought gold, but unfortunately, on that day, gold collapsed. I was so disappointed. So I started studying cycles. And one night, 4 a.m., I just heard a voice in my head that said, check this. I jumped off my bed. I opened my computer. I don't remember what I typed, but this started my journey with cycles and circuit geometry. In 2020, I decided to move to a Greek island, dedicate my time on what I love to do, and that's studying the markets and being in the nature. During the
Okay.
past 5 years, I've spent most of my time on trading psychology, understand how the market, how the mind works.
We're our own worst enemies, aren't we, buddy?
Yeah,
And when we have to learn to do the opposite of human nature as a
yeah,
trader. It's a new paradigm,
yeah,
right?
indeed. Actually, we trade our beliefs, I think.
Yeah,
That's why
we
everyone
do.
sees a different story at the end.
Yeah, and have different problems. A lot of it with the paradigm that you had as a kid. You know,
Yeah, and
you're even your child.
Dale, sorry to interrupt you.
That's
You can
fine.
be a great analyst, even the best or the best cycles analyst, but if you're mentally weak, uh, you're not
Y-
gonna make it. It's much better to have a better risk management approach and a solid mindset and just flip a coin.
Yeah. So, did you have any important teachers or mentors or what you studied that helped you make a breakthrough? Or are you more self-taught?
I'm mainly influenced by W.D. Gann's work.
Okay.
And in the early years, prior to 2010, I was frequently reading Martin Armstrong's blog,
Okay.
and I was excited about the idea of reading a naked chart. I met him in 2015 when he came to give a presentation to Greece, and I had a quick chat with him and asked him. I told him basically I'm doing this and that. He didn't say anything. He just smiled and nodded, and that's how I continued.
Okay. I remember back then because I'd interviewed Martin a few times, and this was during the debt crisis in Greece, and he was advising the Greek government to ditch the euro. Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely.
He said that guys would have been better off with the drachma again, and Greece is doing the best in Europe right now. So maybe it's a good thing you didn't ditch the euro.
Well, that's a
Anyway, that
controversial
was,
discussion. I think it
yeah,
was a mistake that we joined, but it's not the fault of the euro. It's what our politicians have done. I mean, we are
yeah,
spending reckless money, so it didn't
okay,
matter even if we
yeah.
had the dollar.
Okay, so I'm fascinated by Gann. Time is more important than price. He was a legend, and it's very difficult discipline to learn. It's very esoteric. So tell us, we're just starting the year 2025. What are some of the important turning points for Gann this year? I know he pays attention to eclipses and planetary oppositions and the change of seasons, because I'm
Yeah,
thinking, so where are you at on the market, like
I'm
S&Ps?
mostly influenced by late Gann's work, not the early. So I don't use
Okay.
angles and
Okay.
astrology, all that stuff. I can share something if you like,
Sure.
what I
Yeah,
did.
go ahead. Go ahead. It's at the bottom,
Um,
the share
okay,
screen.
I don't see the share button.
Oh, probably do I have no one's sharing the screen, so if you just move your cursor underneath the bottom of the screen, you'll see different icons come up. You'll see share, raise hand.
I see raise hand. Oh, share. Yep, got it.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Can you
Coming up.
see it?
It's coming up. Not yet. There we
Dale,
go.
can you
There
see
you
my screen?
got it. The Dow Jones price cycles.
Yeah,
Bars. Got
what
it.
I did, because as you know already, we had 2 consecutive years with very strong returns.
Yes.
And because I have more data with the Dow Jones compared to the S&P, I went back and studied since 1900 to 225, so the past 125 years. And I used two criteria. When did we have two back-to-back double positive years? And prior to that, we had a negative year, because this is what we're facing now, right?
Right.
So I found 8 cases. And what's the average here is that according to this study, I'm not saying this is going to happen, of course, okay? The max, if history repeats for the Dow, we could see max 48,000 to 52 and minimum 38,000. And these numbers I derived using the performance of the third year. In our case, that's 225. So I compared it with last year's closing. I want to show you also something more now. I'll move to time cycles.
All right.
Okay. Now this is gone. This is the Dow Jones on a weekly chart.
Got you.
From 2020 to today, what we have.
Yes.
And I have overlaid some cycles here that I use. And you can see, of course, there have been many minor movements and noise, but if we look at the big picture and the broader trend, we are literally following these cycles. I mean, look at this: dip, rise, top here, decline, and this is perfectly matching this movement here, right? Another rise, the decline, and now we're at the most strongest phase. Now, if history repeats, these cycles, all of them top in late 2025.
Okay.
So I suspect that this rally, we're going to see a major top in the last quarter of 2025. These cycles also suggest that potentially there is a great buying opportunity coming in summer. You can see here.
Okay, so you think it's in that far out in July? Because I've seen some other cycles due in May, but this is based
It's
upon
possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. I'm going to, in the following days, because it's still the start of the year, it's work in progress.
Yes.
I will try to narrow it down, and I'm happy to share with you what I found.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have you back. Okay,
Thank you.
so all right, so that's a Dow. Or do you track other instruments?
Of course.
Oh, you do. I've been down your stream. You track gold, and so where are you at in gold?
Okay, gold. I think on gold we are potentially we may see a high here. Gold needs to move aggressively above the 2,700 and
Yeah.
2,878.80.
Right.
If it managed to do so, and let's say we see some form of consolidation there, then okay, that's a signal we're going to penetrate 3,000 and move much higher. But silver is not following, and I also have a key turning point here, 28th of January to the 4th of February. So we may see a short-term high or a pause here.
Okay.
I'm watching that. If it
Okay.
doesn't, silver will follow. If it does pull back, then we can see also silver test that 26, 27 level finally.
Okay. We sound like you sound like me. I've been waiting for those levels too.
Okay, but long term, much higher, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to
also-
show you something about the
Go ahead.
year. I want to show you one more slide if you want with
Sure, go ahead.
gold.
I love your work.
Um,
I love GAN work.
Oh, thanks. Actually, in February, I made a post in the first week where I said if that there was a professional distribution at the 207. This is an old chart. I'm just showing you to explain this is what the market did in the past. So if it do this, we can expect that. This is what gold did prior to 2020. These are highly sensitive areas. This is where big money is participating. And you can see how the market has been bouncing off all these areas. This is real support and resistance. Now, what did we have here in 2019? There was a distribution, price consolidated and moved
And then broke out.
aggressively. So this kicked off the bull market, really, the aggressive phase. We had the same here in 2020. And this is why I said in February, we have another distribution here. And you can see also how the market bottomed and peaked before in similar areas. We had another distribution, it consolidated for many weeks.
Yes.
Took out this high, and I said, okay, this is it. This is going to explode. And this is exactly what we saw. I want to show you one more slide on gold. I don't think I've shared this before, but okay. This is big picture gold cycles.
Okay.
But all these cycles are connected to what we are seeing today. 1980 major high.
I was in the business.
I'm sure you did. And
Yeah.
In 2011, we had the all-time high.
Yeah.
I'm using trading view chart, of course, but the prices that I've labeled on the chart are not from trading view. I'm using the December continuous contract. And pay attention here. From the all-time low in 1935, the market advanced $872 to the all-time high. So this is a massive, very important price cycle. And what did we have? From the 1980 major high, market had moved 870 weeks exactly. So this came to the second low. I'll explain that later. And when gold made the high in 2047 days from the 2008 low. Later, the market made its final low in 2015. At what price? 1,047. So what do we see? Time becomes price. Price and time are interchangeable. These cycles, geometric fractions or derivatives, constantly repeat. And these are very important cycles. I'm not talking about 8-year cycles. These cycles are in control here.
Okay.
And
the cycle high you do anytime between now and sometime next week is
that's a minor.
Minor cycle.
That's a minor. That's
okay. So
minor.
what I'm thinking, and I'd
And
like your
this
thoughts.
is 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really, when you think about it, there wasn't much differentiation between the general trend of risk, the S&Ps or Dow, and gold. They both in general have been trading up together. In fact, it's all been one market almost everything rallies together, and then the market inhales and things pull back together. Do you see that
Yeah,
in your work, that it's all one market and it revolves around the dollar?
I agree. Yes.
Is a dollar and okay.
I
So
mean,
if you're looking
I
for a
look at each
pullback,
market independently, of course,
yeah,
and I do a lot of work. I do a lot of cycles on the CAOT data,
yes, yeah,
um, and I can share some findings or I can highlight some levels for some markets you frequently discuss, like the yen, the
okay.
Australian dollar, crude
All right,
oil.
where are you at in US dollar yen? Because that's pretty tightly correlated with yields. So if we could
Yeah,
get
US
your
dollar. As you know, I was expecting a big decline from April down to 98, 99 level because I had professional distribution there. It stopped at 100, but it
yeah,
stopped exactly on a key date. And then the price structure was very interesting, and I was confident that this market was going much higher. So I
right,
was bullish throughout this move. I had a top target at 109.50, 111.50. We stopped at the middle.
yeah,
It showed weakness. I'm not convinced we bottom yet. I'm waiting to see. So short term, it can bounce, it can go even lower. I think as long as we stay above 104, long term, we're going much higher.
okay. What
On
if we went to
yen,
night? Why is 104 the line in the sand? Couldn't we have a panic under 100 and then have another bull move in the dollar after, just like everyone was so bullish a dollar a few months
yes,
ago?
we could.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well,
I
anyway,
mean, one thing I've learned from the market is never be certain for
everything can
anything.
happen. Right.
Yeah, and I want to highlight one market that I was working at last night, and that's crude oil.
Okay, let's see it.
Uh, I don't have a chart now on.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I have a chart, but okay.
You might have to stop sharing and reshare to get a different chart if it's on a different screen.
Oh, okay.
And what kind of business model do you have? You're on X. Are you looking for customers? I know you manage family office accounts. Um,
Yes.
do you have a
Uh,
letter? Go ahead.
I'm uh, I'm preparing a website, and hopefully, I plan to start in June a new market service where, yes, I will have a market letter.
Okay. All right.
And
Tell me what we're looking at.
crude oil.
Yeah, I know that.
Okay. We had a very strong sell signal here.
Yes.
So this pullback is normal. We could test these lows. Uh, These are very important lows, not just because they're side by side, but we had massive, massive buying here from smart money. If we break below these lows, which is possible, obviously we'll see some selling accelerate. I think that will be a massive buying opportunity because any decline here, in my view, is part of a broader bear trap. And I would
Even
mark,
even if we went to 62, which happens to be my target, is that
yeah,
we
yeah,
take it.
we can
Okay.
go even to 48 or 50.
Okay.
That's
Interesting.
that's normal, but I would highlight January's high. If we break out, watch out. We're
Yeah.
going much higher. But for
Okay.
now, okay, we can pull back, but be careful. I think in the big picture, this is a massive bear trap.
Got you. All right. So oil could be one of the biggest plays for 2025, according to your work. One of the
When we
best
break
longs.
when we break that high.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And if we break the lows, you'd still be accumulating.
I would wait to see if it holds and it's a false breakout. If it drops down to the 50s or even the level you mentioned.
Yeah, it's not going to take out 62 is the low. Write it
I
down.
don't see it any way this being a collapse.
I've been waiting for 62 even longer than waiting for $27 silver. Okay, so anyway, that really interesting stuff, man, and like your looks, and thanks for sharing some dates with us. We know the market's okay.
Thank you.
I know
Thank you
that
so
GAN
much.
doesn't predict. I know that GAN doesn't predict price, and you're talking about a high in the Dow. You gave us some targets. Do you have any upside targets in S&P for where you think it could be in the fall, like you do in the Dow?
I haven't completed my
6,400?
cycle work, but yeah, exactly.
Uh,
That's where I think
Is that it?
it could max.
Yeah. Okay. That's where everyone, I know, a lot of people
But
are at.
it will depend when we make that high and what is happening in other
Yeah.
things as well.
Yeah. Anyway, get this right. We're in a correction and there's a good buying opportunity for the last hurrah in stock
And pay
indexes.
attention also to the
True.
Japanese yen, because I think your friends, you like to discuss this market. Actually, if you have 1 minute, I want to show you one slide.
Go
Do you
ahead.
have a minute, Dale?
Yeah, sure. I got 4.
Okay, thanks. Oh, great. Shall I have to stop sharing again?
I don't know. Why don't you put it up and ask me? You're not, I'm still looking at the crude. So
Okay, I'll
try,
change it now. Okay.
okay, it's still crude. People are already thanking you. There's
Oh, thanks a lot. I really
people could
appreciate
barely
being
hear
here with
me.
you all.
Yeah.
Okay, you should be seeing it now. Again, big picture. I'm not talking about minor moves here, as you can see. This is a weekly chart. Now I'm showing you something back from the 2020, 2022. Look what we had here. Again, matter, distribution, overlapping, and look what's happening here for many, many weeks.
Yeah.
Consolidation and successful retest of the accumulation area. So this doesn't mean it will go up. It could even fall down. But when you have successful retest, accumulation, and price breaks above a swing high, this is a very powerful signal for a prolonged move. And look what happened. This went through the roof. It went 160, I don't remember, 162 was the high.
Yeah. So
So
where are you at on it now?
yeah,
Forget yesterday's newspaper. They're good teaching tools. Anything actionable in US dollar yen from where we are now?
sorry.
Anything actionable in US dollar yen now? With what it came off about 500 pips.
No,
You
I'm
have no
rather
trade.
waiting.
What are you
No,
waiting for?
I'm more focused on USD CAD now.
Okay, are you looking for a top?
There is a lot of selling there going from smart money. I know, I can see that. But I think this consolidation is part of a broader move that will take USD CAD much higher.
150?
Yeah, 147, 150, 149 especially.
Okay.
And for me, this is a tip off. Of course, it can pull back and come even 300 pips lower from here. That wouldn't change the big picture. But if the USD CAD fails to take up those highs at 146.7, if I remember correctly, that is very bearish for the USD, and probably the bears then would be right. we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Okay. Waiting is we get paid to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience, and it was great talking to
Yeah.
you. I'm glad our paths crossed, Panos. So
Thank you very much. Thank
all right,
you.
all right, and I'll get a hold of you on X, and we'll set up a date in April. See how things are playing
Thank you
out.
very much.
All right, Panos Papadopoulos, and you could follow him on X at Pan Palabar, PANPALOBAR. That's his X handle. And remember, everyone, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Could join the team on the Morning Edge in 15 minutes. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. Adios. And thanks again, Panos. See you
Bye.
again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, everyone's thanking you. All righty.
Bye to all friends.
All right, follow him, guys. Follow him, Barry. See you later. Adios.